Are you preparing for a job interview? And are you wondering how to answer some tricky questions like tell us a bit about yourself? Well, this is just for you. I'm joined today by Monique, who has 15 years experience in HR, and she'll be giving us her experience from a HR perspective on how you can be able to prepare for an interview. She'll be giving us tips and what they're looking for, what HR professionals are looking for when they are asking these questions. Hello and welcome to The Peculiar People. My name is Victor, and my mission is to create content that will help you to make better decisions for your career, your leadership, and your relationships. So Monique, thank you again for joining us. And today we want to help people who are preparing for interviews or who have had challenges with interviews. So by way of introduction, maybe you can tell us how long you've worked in the HR space.
The HR space, I think close to 12, 15 years. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm sure during that time you've done recruitment and interviews and
Oh
all
yes, that was a big portion of my work. Yes.
All right.
Yes.
So with that in mind, let me try and be an advocate for people who are going for interviews.
Yes.
And they feel like they're harassed, or they don't know what you are looking for. So maybe we can start there.
Yeah.
As a HR person doing an interview, what are the things you look out for in that conversation?
First and foremost, there's something I tell people even when I'm coaching them before going for interviews. The fact that you've been called for an interview already says something. You have something they are looking for. So that in itself is positive. So number two, when I'm recruiting, either as a HR person or the recruiting line manager, I don't want to recruit somebody who would come and fail. Yeah, it will also have it will reflect on me. I want to recruit the right candidates. Yeah. So number two, we don't recruit for the sake of recruiting. We want to recruit the best. Yeah. Number three, now here is the CV, here is the person. So what we want to see, does this person match what we are seeing? Because there are situations where guys come for interview, I even ask them, is this your CV? Yeah. In fact, one gentleman I still remember, he had taken his boss's JD and put it as its own.
Oh.
Yeah, it was evident. Yeah. So what you've written, is it true? Yeah. It's also a verification process. Yeah. And in addition to verification, maybe there are some things that are not clear. We want to ascertain those things. Yeah. So interviews are not to make you fail. Interviews are to help us get the right candidate. Yes.
Thank you for that clarification and confirmation. So I think if there's anyone listening and they were dreading an interview, this should give them the right direction. Yeah. And I know there's, as we're starting the conversation, a very common question that people struggle with. Some people actually hate this question. Tell us about yourself. And they don't know where to start. They don't know what to say. So how, once again, as a HR practitioner, what do you look for when you ask this question?
First and foremost, it's an assumption that when you say tell us about yourself, we are starting from the known. And when you're talking about something you already know, how do you do it? Usually comfortable about it. So number one, we want to make you relax. So tell us about what you already know yourself, because we want you to relax. But number two, I also tell people, don't go and regurgitate what's on the CV. You could bring out some highlights, but what is it about you, yeah, that will make you stand out, yeah, against all the other candidates that we've called? Because chances are, in fact, I always tell people, chances are there is somebody out there who has more qualifications than you, more experience than you. So it's you to show us why you are not the other person. So secondly, it's a selling point for you. So ask yourself, what attribute, what skill, what expertise are you bringing to the table that would make you the best candidate for the role that you've applied for? Yeah. So that's what I always advise people when you're going for interviews. So what will make you stand out? This is an opportunity for you. It's like a 1 minute sales pitch for you. Yes.
Wow. I like what you said, which is very interesting, that you use this question to help people to relax. Yet, I find that people, when that question comes, they panic. Yeah. So, I think that's good for us to hear, that it's not a question to cause us to panic, but to start from the known. So thank you for giving us that clarification. I know the next question that people also struggle with is just having that conversation on negotiation in terms of remuneration. What would you say to that? When someone is planning to have this conversation, how can they prepare to have that conversation?
First and foremost, when you ask that question, there's a question many candidates give. Yeah, your salary. I'm ready for anything. That's not what we've asked. So, number one, poor listening skills, because you're answering what you've not been asked. Yeah, and we've not asked you what is ours. We already know what our skill is. But it's also a way of gauging, one, do you understand the worth of the job you've applied for? You may not fully know how much the role is being paid. Yeah, but you need to have what you call some market intelligence. Yeah. For example, a HR manager in a big organization probably would be paid close to $1 million plus. But a HR manager in a middle-sized organization would probably even be paid 100,000. Yeah. But the question is, do you understand the role, the organization, and what you've applied for? So it's one way of gauging your understanding of the role. So if I've applied for a job that, according to market research, would be probably $500,000, and then you come and ask for 200,000, chances are you don't understand the magnitude of that job. Yeah. So I might be hesitant to pick you. On the flip side, if you come, and this I see with the young people a lot, it's an entry-level job. And probably most entry-level jobs would pay probably 50,000 Kenya shillings. Then you come and ask for 100,000. Yeah. Then we wonder, how realistic are you? Again, do you understand the job? Or are you somebody who's looking for a stepping stone for another job? Yeah. And then lastly, we also want to understand, probably you're earning this much. Why do you want the jump? How you explain yourself also. Yeah. Maybe you're in an organization where you're paid 200,000 and you're capable of, you've done your research, you're capable of performing that role, and that job is worth probably 600,000. Yeah, I'll probably say ask even for 500,000. Yeah, and if you're asked to explain, then you're able to show, I am here because this industry, this situation, this is how much it pays. But I know, based on my expertise, based on my experience, and in addition, based on the role and what would be expected of me, I think this is what the job is worth for. and this is what I should ask for. So that's the other thing I tell applicants as they're preparing to go for interviews.
Yeah, and I think that's very important, because people who are, they wonder, they know their worth, they know this is the market rate, but maybe the organization where they are presently is not able to pay them that, and they don't know how to explain that jump, you know, like moving from one level 2-3 levels up. They don't know how to explain that. So I think what you have told us there is very important. Understanding the worth, and I think it's also important to from what you've said, do the research, you know. So going back to your responsibility of doing the research.
Yeah.
And what sort of questions would be good to ask a potential employer in the interview room?
Okay, let me start with what not to ask. Don't ask the obvious. Yeah, what's this organization all about, especially in today's age? With this digital space, you can get a lot of that information. Yeah. Number 2, don't ask about salary in the first interview. Yeah, that's a red flag. Yeah. A good question probably to ask is, other than what is stipulated on the job role that was advertised, what are other challenges, or what are the the challenges the organization is facing, and how have they managed it, or how has that impacted that job? Yeah, so you'd want to understand that for your own understanding, even as you prepare for that job. Sometimes it's also good to know why although I don't know if you'll be told the truth, why is that position vacant? Yeah, is it a new role? And if it's a new role, what changes have taken place? If it's on an existing role, probably what happened. They may not give you the full information, but it's just good to know, because also just part of understanding the organization that you're joining. Yeah. Because other than the job, the role where what you're going to do, it's also important to understand the culture of the organization. How does it resonate with their value systems? Yeah, I know, again, as I said, some of this you can pick, from friends, from research and all that, but sometimes you need further clarification. This is an opportunity. Yeah, I know there are situations where people have called me, "Oh, Monique, there's a job in certain organization," but knowing myself and knowing the kind of organization, the culture within that organization, sometimes I've said no, because I know I will not fit in. So it's good also to understand that. Yeah.
Wow, those are very good pointers. And from what I hear you say is, be interested as the candidate, be interested in the organization, so that now also influences the conversation. Okay.
Yeah.
So what else do you look for in a candidate as you're doing the selection?
Attitude. Yeah. Attitude, they say attitude is everything. We once were interviewing for a surveyor. It was this organization. We got this very qualified surveyor. In fact, she was top in terms of the expertise, the knowledge, the academic qualification, but only one thing brought her down: her attitude. Yeah. In fact, I remember after she left, we asked the line manager, "Tell us, very qualified, would you like to work with her?" He said, "No ways, that would be a troublemaker." And imagine, she was not recruited just because of her bad attitude, even the way she came into the interview. I probably think she was trying to show how qualified she is, or she was then, but the way she did it was all wrong. Very condescending, and she wasn't taken. And also, be careful also how honest you are. Remember another situation whereby interviewed 2 people, having more or less the same background, as in they had come from very rich families. So when we ask the issue of salary again, how much should you be expecting? Entry-level job. One actually said, I would be willing to take what you offer. Yeah. Because we knew where she was coming from. Yeah. And I know this job probably would pay not anything more than 50,000. But I'm willing to take that salary because I know I need to first start from somewhere as I grow into my career as a lawyer. We gave her that job. Another candidate, same interview, yeah, came in. What would you be expecting? 100,000. Do you know this is an entry-level position? Yes. How much do you think it's paid? Says 50,000. So why would you be asking for 100,000 when you know the position is for 50,000? Says, because that's what I'm given as my fuel allowance by my parents. There's no way I'm going to ask for anything less than what I'm given as fuel allowance.
Wow.
Really? We did not take that guy. Yeah. Both from same, I would say, affluent companies, but their attitude, the way they presented themselves. One, we did not pick. The other, we pick. And you know what? This lady used to come to work with a Mercedes.
Wow.
Yeah. Entry-level position. But today, she's grown as a lawyer. She developed because of attitude. Yeah. In fact, we used to, sometimes we'd make fun because the boss didn't have a Mercedes. But she was willing to learn because she realized she needed the experience to go to where she wanted to go. And she got it. Yes. So attitude.
And I see it's almost like it's like a trade-off. You know the salary that you desire, but are you willing to trade that for some experience so that the experience can take you to that salary that you desire?
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So finally, any tips that you can give someone preparing for an interview?
First and foremost, like I've said, do your research. That's key. Prepare for the interview. Don't assume that because you are good at your job, it's automatic. Remember, like I said, the fact that you've been called for that interview means there's something you can offer. But remember, there are many others who've also been called for that interview. So as you're preparing, you need to ask yourself consciously, what do you think you have that is unique to you that will make you stand out? Yeah, pick that out. And as you pick that out, ask yourself, how are you going to present that to the panelists? Because it's easy to say I'm a leader. It's easy to say I'm good at problem solving. But demonstrate how good you are at it. How do you do it? Give an example. Yeah, I have this trait because when I'm asked to do this, I am able to mobilize people and we get things running. Recently, this project, these were the obstacles I overcame. So you're giving, in fact, I say it's an acronym. Is it acronym or it's acronym?
Acronym, yes.
Yeah, acronym. Yeah, STAR. A situation, what is the task, what did you achieve, and what were the results? Yeah, even when you're talking about your strengths, again, the STAR. Yeah, I'm a good leader. What makes you say that? A situation, the task that you did, the action that you took as a leader, and what were the results? Because you want to give evidence. They say evidence helps defeat any doubt. So that's one of the things I tell people. Prepare. The other one, and this one I was told by one of my bosses, and I think it works. To help relieve those nerves, if you can, visit that organization. Yeah, a day before or a week before, yeah, just to get a feel. It gives you some sense of familiarity, yeah, so that when you go there, you're not all nervous. Yeah. And of course, keep time.
Yeah.
A famous excuse all of us give, yeah, and I know I've given it once in a while. Oh, I've been caught up in traffic. Always plan. Yeah, we know our roads. Okay, there are those inevitable situations. Yeah, maybe you didn't know there was a president coming in, but that will say something also. The fact that you didn't know there was a president coming in, then you are caught up in that traffic.
Yeah.
Yeah, so plan. Plan in advance. If you know you stay far, ask to leave early. If you know you are not able to make it on time, sometimes I even ask people, apply for leave. There's nothing as unnerving. You've asked your colleague to hold fort for you because you dash for an interview and then interviews delay.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, because sometimes that happens. So you're thinking, they told me 11 o'clock, it's now 2. I need to dash back to the office. Yeah. If you know you have a tight schedule, I always say plan in advance. Take that day off. Would rather even apply for leave so that you are calm and collected. Yes. So those are some of the pointers. And then of course, learn the culture. Yeah. How do I go dressed? Recently I went to an organization, although I was going as a panelist, not now the parts of being interviewed.
Yeah.
But one of the things I'm trying to do is to change my colors. I'm very reserved, and so I wear dark colors. But of late, because I want to change, and nowadays it's accepted, I wear bright colors. But this time round, giving my own example, I didn't do my research well. Or rather, I didn't even do my research.
Okay.
For this particular organization, that is one of the big organizations, I'm told the president, let me call him the president of the organization, is so averse to bright colors. And here is Monique, well, professionally dressed, but for him, yeah, his colors are blue and navy blue. And unfortunately, my colleague also forgot to mention it to me. She says, oh my goodness, Monique, I forgot to mention. This guy is so particular about colors. You know, those little things, just do your research and establish that. Yeah. It would either be the deal breaker or not.
Wow. Thank you very much, Monique, for helping us to be prepared for interviews. Yeah, that's good knowledge there. Thank you for coming.
Yes.